Ambassador Kelvin stood perfectly still in the Galactic Council chamber, his hands clasped behind his back, his expression carefully neutral. Around him, the representatives of 47 species murmured in their various languages, creating a symphony of clicks, whistles, and harmonic frequencies that the translation implants rendered into comprehensible speech. "The humans have been given every accommodation," declared High Arbiter Thexanol, his crystalline body refracting the chamber's light into dancing rainbows across the walls. "They arrived in our galaxy as refugees, their world destroyed by their own sun's volatility. We granted them sanctuary. We gave them territories. We welcomed them into the galactic community despite their peculiarities." Kelvin's jaw tightened imperceptibly. Peculiarities. That was the polite word they used. "And yet," continued the High Arbiter, "they continue to violate Protocol 7 Gamma. Their military vessels carry weapon systems far exceeding civilian defense parameters. Their colonies fortify beyond reasonable security measures. They train their young in combat techniques unnecessary for civilized space." "We have explained our reasoning," Kelvin said, his voice level and diplomatic. "Old habits from our homeworld, cultural traditions. Surely the Council can—" "No." The word came from Commodore Gentara of the Krillian Empire, her 6 eyes narrowing in unison. "We have been patient, Ambassador, but patience has limits. Your species exhibits patterns we have seen before. Aggressive species that destabilize the peace we have maintained for 3,000 cycles." Kelvin felt something cold settle in his chest. They didn't understand. They couldn't. None of them had evolved on a world like Earth, a death world where the very air had once been poison, where predators hunted in packs, where natural disasters could wipe out entire regions without warning. None of them understood what it meant to be human, to carry the genetic memory of 1,000,000 years of survival against impossible odds. But humanity had learned to hide that nature. They had learned to smile, to bow, to play the game of civilized society. They wore the mask of civility because it was easier than explaining what they truly were. "The Council has reached a decision," High Arbiter Thexanol announced. "All human military assets will be decommissioned. All colonies will be subject to galactic peacekeeping oversight, and all human citizens will undergo restructuring to better align with civilized norms." The chamber fell silent. Kelvin's diplomatic mask didn't slip. It shattered. "Restructuring," he repeated, his voice soft and dangerous in a way that made several nearby species translators struggle with the emotional undertones. "You mean genetic modification? You mean taking away what makes us human? We mean elevating your species beyond its primitive—" "No." Kelvin's voice cut through the chamber like a blade. "You want to know why we fortify our colonies? Why we train our children? Why we carry weapons that terrify you?" He took a step forward, and the High Arbiter's guards moved to intercept, but something in Kelvin's eyes made them hesitate. "It's because we remember," Kelvin continued. "We remember when our ancestors hunted megafauna with nothing but sharpened stones. We remember ice ages that should have killed us. We remember plagues that culled 90% of our population, and we came back stronger. We remember world wars that razed entire continents, and we learned from them." The chamber was deathly quiet now. "But more than that," Kelvin said, his voice dropping to barely above a whisper. "We remember that we learned to be civilized. We chose to wear this mask of diplomacy, of courtesy, of restraint. We chose it because we thought you deserved to see the best of us, not what we were forged to be." He looked around the chamber, meeting the eyes, or optical sensors or sensory pits, of each representative. "You've been safe from us because we chose to let you be safe. Every human in this galaxy wakes up every morning and chooses not to be the apex predator they were born to be. We choose to play by your rules, follow your protocols, accept your condescension about our peculiarities." "Is this a threat?" Commodore Gentara demanded, her battlesuit humming to life. "No," Kelvin said, and for the first time he smiled. It wasn't a pleasant expression. It's a warning. One that history has taught every species that ever made the mistake of pushing a death worlder too far. He straightened his diplomatic robes, the gesture somehow more threatening than any weapon. Humanity will not accept restructuring. We will not disarm. We will not submit to oversight. And if the Galactic Council attempts to enforce these edicts, you will learn why every predator on Earth feared the sight of upright primates with opposable thumbs and problem-solving minds. This is outrageous, several voices shouted at once. This is honest, Kelvin corrected. For the first time since we arrived, I'm being completely honest with you. We didn't want this. We wanted to be your friends, your neighbors, your allies. We wanted to prove that humanity could evolve beyond its violent nature. He turned toward the exit, then paused. But you've decided to force us to remove the mask, to reveal what 3 billion years of evolution on a death world created. I promise, you counselors, you will not like what you see underneath. The doors opened before him and Kelvin walked out, leaving a chamber full of galactic representatives in stunned silence. High Arbiter Thexenol finally spoke, his voice uncertain for the first time in his 3 centuries of service. Surely they wouldn't dare challenge the entire Galactic Council. They're refugees. They're outnumbered 10,000 to 1. But Commodore Gentara had already pulled up her console, accessing the restricted files, the ones sealed away and marked with warnings in every galactic language. Files about Earth, about the species that had evolved there, about what they had done to their own world before their sun had forced them to leave. Her 6 eyes widened as she read, her skin paling to a sickly gray. What is it? The High Arbiter demanded. Gentara looked up, her voice hollow. They named their world Earth, but in the old galactic catalogs before humans arrived it had another designation. She turned her screen around. It was classified as a Class 12 death world, one of only 7 in the known galaxy. The survival rate for intelligent species on such worlds is 0.0001%. And humanity? Humanity didn't just survive it, Gentara whispered. They conquered it. They became its apex species. And then, when they developed technology, they fought wars so devastating that they're the reason their world was Class 12 in the first place. The High Arbiter's crystalline body dimmed. Send a message to all council representatives immediately. Tell them what? Gentara interrupted, her voice bitter. That we just forced the most dangerous species in the galaxy to stop pretending to be civilized? Outside the chamber, Ambassador Kelvin stood in the corridor, his communicator already active. Back on New Terra, the human capital world, the message was received. The protocols were enacted. And across 100 human colonies, the masks began to come off. History, it seemed, was about to teach the galaxy a lesson it would never forget. The Deathworlders had been asked nicely to disarm. They had politely declined. And now the galaxy would learn what humanity had known for millennia. The most dangerous predator is the one that learned to hide its teeth behind a smile.